Good day, everyone. So, a little sleepy at the moment. I guess life catches up sometimes. You know, with all the noise of today and the internet and all these different theories and questioning of history and facts and the shape of the earth and if we landed on the moon and women being men and men being women, both mentally and physically, and this like what I can see as a mental illness of trauma and lack of love and affection and attention in someone's household, and why it occurred to me so clearly about when I had a son, daughter, child, offspring, how I was going to handle that, which was, take full accountability and responsibility for my choices. A lot of people seem to have trouble with that for some reason. And, take responsibility for raising my own offspring. I don't see who could do that better. And when you look at it as an esoteric design where they are literally offspring of our own, DNA, our own bodies, our own cells, excuse me, then who better than to have it be us that raises them. And most of us were raised going to school 8 hours a day with strangers, and social skills. They say, oh, what about social skills? I don't know. My son's far more social than most of these kids that I meet these days on their screens and in their houses, and sitting in a desk for most of the day being told to be quiet. I don't know what social skills you're learning there. I certainly didn't. I had to get in trouble often to break the rules to be social when I was in school. I think a lot of you can relate to that. So anyways, the point of this video, and hopefully it'll be a short one, still working on that, is with all the noise of all the questions and what is real and what is reality, and all this. It's like at the end of the day, I really had to kind of like shut all the noise down as much as I could and not necessarily keep digging in all these different rabbit holes, and it's all well and good and it's all fun. At the end of the day though, what is real for sure is being here now, is being in the now space, is being in this moment and making the best of it. And that saying that life is what happens, I think it was John Lennon or something, life is what happens to you while you're making other plans. So in other words, while you are thinking about this, that, or the other, you're still living some kind of life, you're still doing something generally. And so even if it's quote unquote nothing, it's still something. The paradox of God, right? Everything and nothing at once. So that being said, it's this idea that I do my best, even though I can get complex and talk about complex ideas and have complex conversations, I get into these times where I really want to simplify things. So for me, that's why the idea that the government can govern, control, mind, control the mind, that's their job allegedly, to control the narrative and author the story and what's possible and what isn't. I implore you to use your imagination, think good thoughts, think positive, be kind, be compassionate, really like let go of all these demons, all these traumas, forgive and forget, turn the other cheek. Say what you want about Jesus, and if Jesus existed or not is irrelevant. Again, it's like, we landed on the moon or not, it's irrelevant. They're doing their best to create some benevolence in their own self and their own organizations. So we, kind of negate God or think, on some level that they're idols to be worshipped. We were warned about that. So it's this idea of be here now, live in the moment, have this connection with God, and do our best to let go of all these extra stresses, all these questions, and just kind of like live in acceptance and surrender. And, say, like I was starting to say what you want about Jesus. He really, in the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, really paints a pretty clear instructional manual for how to live in peace here and harmony within yourself. regardless of what's going on. I mean, life is always going to have its pains, its challenges, its suffering in a sense. However, I've more recently accepted that suffering is my own worry, my own fear, and my own focus on the pain. I don't have to focus on the pain. I can focus on whatever I want. That is part of my free will. And so to stay here, be in this moment, and just choose joy, choose peace, choose love, choose forgiveness, choose gratitude, choose acceptance, choose surrender. I really am just at home in myself, in my body. I am accepting the non-duality of life. Obviously, there is duality in our perceptual space here in the third dimension realm called Earth. There is no bad or good. It's all based on perception. I say that all the time. I don't mean for that. That may get misconstrued, and that's okay. If you want more explanation, give me a call, book a call. It's about the fact that the all and the nothing, God, the zero, zero is empty and full at the same time. It's a placeholder. It doesn't actually exist. However, without it, nothing else can really exist in a sense. Like, one, -1, and so on. God is the balance, is the level, is the plane. And, that's the zero. That's that space. Actually, Jewish people used to would only, put your mark here. They would only put a circle, not an X, because, they identify as God's chosen people. And I'm not getting into all that stuff around that. The point is Keikel was the word for that back then. And that's where a certain derogatory term for them came. And it's because they would only make a circle signifying God's people. And, I fully comprehend that. So, and I'm not saying anything about the cross one way or the other. I'm making a point about the circle. So, I don't pretend to understand everything, overstand everything, comprehend everything. I don't pretend that I've connected all the dots. I'm seeing people out here explaining about souls and out-of-body experiences, and it's really cool stuff. And these different, potential nationality, races, beings, and aliens, and extraterrestrials, extra land from other realms, and the 12 stargates, and it's all really fascinating stuff. However, it's like, oh, just be your authentic self. Well, if you don't know your true authentic self at the heart of it, that could turn into, well, I feel like killing somebody, or I feel like drinking all the time, or I feel like having sex with everybody. It's like, that's kind of how we got into this place, was being selfish and just doing whatever we wanted. So I think there has to be some kind of self-awareness and knowledge and wisdom in order to just tell people to be their fully authentic self. Like, you really need to do a lot of self-work before you can even begin to comprehend your true authenticity. And it's not to say not to speak your mind or your heart. It's externally, what does that look like, and how selfish are you acting, and how much are you chasing dopamine as opposed to the long-term high of serotonin. I compare it to a donut versus the gym, right? The gym, you're not going to see results for a year sometimes. It takes a lot. There's a lot of pain involved to get to the pleasure of being physically fit and strong, and as opposed to like, I'll just sit here and watch TV or eat a donut or both. And, it's like, as we age, or hopefully we raise our offspring in the proper way to, go deeper, dig deeper, look for the serotonin, the long-term, they call it the runner's high. So, with all the noise out there, do your best to quiet your mind, be in the moment, be in joy, and don't let it all get to you. Take one step at a time, one journey at a time, one topic at a time, the best you can. Realize that at the end of it, it doesn't matter. Like, we still have to put our pants on. We still have to be our most loving, compassionate, kind, forgiving selves. We still have to let go of our traumas, our childhood traumas, hug the inner child that didn't get hugged, tell the inner child, I love you, that didn't hear that. That's a lot of the work that I've done for myself, that I help others with, is the inner child stuff, the soul, the shadow work. Peter Pan, again, sewed his shadow to his soul in the story. Well, Wendy, the feminine, helped him. So it's this marrying of the divine masculine, the divine feminine, the divinity within, to the shadow side. I watched this show recently called The Good Omens, and it they got rid of the four horsemen except for death, because life can't exist without death. Death is the shadow side of life, and it was just such a significant, very short, quick little thing in the show. It was very significant to my spark, to my mind, to my heart. So, don't let this all get you lost. I do implore you to look into commerce and, how we got into this mess of being forced to pay for registrations, insurances, licenses, fees, hunting, fishing, arms, and so on and so on. I implore you to research that stuff. Look into trust law, equity and trust law, the jurisdiction of equity and trust, contracts, agreements. Everything's based on contracts and agreements in this space. It's the highest law, short of God's law, which it kind of is. God's law is making contracts one being to another. You're committing to something, and the importance of keeping our word when we give it is extremely undervalued and extremely taken for granted now. Like back in the day, a handshake was everything, and if you didn't keep your word, you dueled, and you there was serious consequences for not keeping your word. That's why there's witnesses involved generally to attest to what was actually said. And I think people just really underestimate the impact it has on ourself, on our soul, on our truest form, our truest self, when we don't keep our word, when we break pacts, when we don't have integrity and honor, and whether it eats away at us at first or not, and it seems like at first it's all good, the destruction's coming. Like you are gonna go into a really negative, dark space, and it isn't fun, and it is lonely. And at any given time, we can make amends, seek forgiveness, seek to make things right. However, the damage is often done. Doesn't mean people are going to give us their forgiveness, that we seek. And it doesn't mean that they're going to welcome us back into their physical space, their physical now, their physical journey. It might become a live and let live, like, yeah, I forgive you. However, I'm all set. Where were you when I needed you, kind of thing. I needed you more when my wallet was less. One of my favorite songs. So, yeah, this was way longer than I expected. Be here now, don't forget that. Love yourself, hug yourself, give yourself a nice squeeze, tell yourself you love you, and, really just do your best to be honorable, to be a really great person, and know that you can do anything within that space. If you're really being true to yourself and to others, and keeping your word, which is being true to yourself. Don't give your word if you can't keep it. I don't make promises almost ever, because I don't know what's going to happen in life. I'm not a psychic. I can't predict everything. So I'm very careful to do my best to speak with accuracy and say, yeah, I'll do my best to do that. My intention is to do that as long as nothing happens. We do our best to speak a certain way, where, we remain in honor. And without that, we really can hurt ourselves, esoterically speaking, and then it turns and it manifests in all kinds of ways. So if you want to stay out of dis-ease, don't worry too much about if Antarctica has all these different beings, or if that's the ice wall, or if we live on a ball, B-A-L-L, B-A-A-L, ball, the god ball, Earth. Look into that. I could get into all of it. It's all fun to talk about. I enjoy it thoroughly. I just don't think it's as important as, I say to my friends that are into this stuff heavy. I'm like, yeah, but at the end of the day, what about the fact that I still have to put on my pants, I still have to get money, still have to take care of my sons and myself, and be responsible and accountable for my word, for my life, and what I'm doing, and being a good neighbor, a good man. Won't you be my neighbor? So get out there, be loving, be kind, be compassionate, be a better part of this world. let's do our best to stop being so harsh, so judgmental, laughing at each other, and just discouraging. If somebody talks about the earth being flat, be open to it. If somebody talks about this being a simulation, be open to it. Listen, like, maybe you don't know everything. I heard this recently about, I'm able to forgive. This guy was saying, I'm able to forgive because I know I'm capable of anything, and I'm being self-righteous if I don't realize that. So whatever has happened to you, maybe, that you're hanging on to, maybe you were capable of the same thing. Like, I can say for my childhood stuff, I certainly am capable of some of the stuff that happened to me. My mom's first husband was very, very abusive to me and to her. And, as I got older, I finally forgave him, because as I got older and became more of a man, I recognized the pressures of the physical realm that could be, or at least that we put on ourselves, and how that could lead to anger and temper and all these weird things. Fear really can warp our mind and our external behaviors. So breathe, get slow, go slow, get back to center, to God, to the zero, to the balance. And don't do your best not to define everything as bad or good, and just let it be. See what you learned from it, and do your best to choose to see it in a helpful way, and your life will change. You can even look at your story completely differently than you are right now, and it'll literally change your physical moment. That's honestly what happened to me. Was I stopped blaming and defining my history, my childhood, my story as something that happened to me, and instead looked at it as like, well, no, I did have love. And I literally, even if some of it's like a fabrication, it still makes my now space way better. So change your story, change your narrative, change your life. And I love you. God bless. Jesus bless you. Jesus of Nazareth is the greatest master maybe to ever live. So, or not, and it just has a really, really great way to live. So if you get a chance, go read at least the 4 Gospels and see what it has to say. Maybe it'll change your life too. I would be doing you a disservice to not share that experience. So thelivingmysterychurch.org if you want to get in touch. If not, please hit the like button either way. And I implore you to enjoy your moment, enjoy your day, enjoy right now. If you're having a hard time, you're not alone. A lot of people are, and it's all what we're focusing on. So let's focus on what we want, not what we don't. Let's not stay in fear, and let's make the change needed to imagination, a amazing now space now. Peace.